music brings people together. But for me,
Okay, good evening. It's 4 o'clock and we are back again with another topic. And namaste to all my panelists here for supporting and for continuously being there. Today is the day 29, isn't it, Sumita? 29 days.
Yes.
Yes, dear. And 29 days to do something like that without any preparation, without, telling my speakers beforehand, hey, you're going to be there, or the topic being distributed. It is not easy, guys, because there are times when, you have so many other things as priority that you don't want to be doing this on the Facebook or anywhere else. I'm talking about myself. Because everybody's got their upper limit. What I realized, there are speakers who are consistent, speakers who are not consistent. There are things that are consistently happening in our lives. And I realized that one part of success is also when you consistently go on doing the same thing again and again. Because when you do the same thing again and again, you not only master the art of doing it, but also master the art of so many other things. The laziness that might just come in. You want to be in your siesta and sleep maybe at this time. Where is anybody waiting for me? All those thoughts that I'm not important. All those thoughts that you are not important. कि आज अगर तुम नहीं सुनोगे तो क्या बड़ी बात हो जाएगी, ऐसा क्या शेयरिंग है हमारे पास. All those things did come up in these 29 days, but I am so proud that we continued, and my speakers have consistently and constantly supported this forum. Kanchan has been here for more than a couple of times. Rashmi is the one from where this forum started. Sumita was there right from day one. I don't think she's missed a day, and I'm really, really thankful for that. Yogini, despite her hectic schedule and taking care of her kids, she's here. And that's what I love about my speakers. They are ready to share themselves. And this is not a forum where we are collecting any money from anyone. We are not putting their good photographs and saying, oh, you know what, they're glamour queens, nothing like that. It's just to share. And when you speak to us on the Facebook and share your views, it just adds color to the whole thing. So then I feel, yeah, koi to baatcheet aisi ho rahi hai ki ikathe baat kar rahe hain. It's not just us talking, right? So today we have picked up a topic which basically yesterday during the talk, and that's how we pick up the topic, was roles that we play in our life. We may be playing those roles in our life or in someone else's life, but these are the roles that you're playing. So I, till today, have played the role of being a daughter, a granddaughter, aunt to someone, a grandmother to Amy, Doreen's daughter. I am a mentor to some people, teacher to some people. These are just different roles. And every role has created a new personality for me. And then we say we don't have multiple personalities. I feel as if these multiple roles that we play in our life and other people's life is not anything short of multiple personalities. So over to Sumita, if you can introduce yourself, and how do you look at this? That again, we need to give credit to Rashmi Arora for first making uh, the the creatives for the first few days. Almost about 20 days she created the creatives. About 3 or 4 days I created the creatives, and last 2 days Sumita has been creating the creatives. So deep acknowledgement. Yes, over to Sumita.
Thank you so much. So, hi everyone. I'm Sumita Mendiratta. I'm a clinical psychologist, a counselor, a remedial tutor, and also a mental health coach for the past 18 years, using different modalities like emotional freedom technique, matrix reimprinting, and brain gym. So definitely, Anu, like you just gave me the role of making a creative for the past 2 days. So that's the latest role I'm playing. And very rightly said that, when we are doing something consistently and, we get into that habit. So, like people, I think, really attend a workshop to get into a habit of something. And thankfully, we got into a habit of coming on Facebook Live for almost now 28 days. And I think now it's, becoming a habit for all of us who are here. So, the roles you were asking, like we have been playing right from the beginning, are right from the like a child, a daughter, a granddaughter, and as I'm growing up, so a role of a friend, role of a daughter, daughter-in-law, and also a mother. So these are the very important roles which we play in our family. But definitely, if there are roles which are like kind of an invisible role, I believe, sometimes you are playing roles in different people's life to whom you are connected to in many different ways. It could be like, you have been playing a role of a just a supporter to somebody. You are really not doing anything, but that person that really considers you as that support system. So I think we play a lot of visible and invisible roles in people's life. And that is definitely affecting us, because whenever you are playing a role to somebody, that person is also playing a role in your life. So it's like, coexistence of the roles, which I believe in. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Sumita, because, yeah, it is the connection of these roles that makes us. It's not just one isolation, or we've come into this world to do one thing. It's not like that. It doesn't feel like that. And yet we somehow feel that we are creating ourselves just for a single purpose. Over to Dr. Rashmi Arora, if you can introduce yourself and if you can throw some light on this topic. Thank you.
Hi, Anu. Thank you so much for inviting me back to this panel. And hi, everybody, and all the viewers on the Facebook. Talking about roles, I'll start with my role with uh, my personal commitment, then come to my professional roles. So, personally, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a sister in law, and I'm a friend. And this topic is very close to me because the more we shift ourselves to different roles, the more we find our perspective of our own. And coming to my professional roles, I'm Dr. Rashmi Arora from Delhi NCR. I'm a homeopathic doctor practicing for the last 25 years. And I am a color therapist as well. I've been practicing color therapy for the last 5 years. And I'm an NLP practitioner. I'm a mental health trainer for the last 2 years. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Let's go over to Kanchan Todi with the same question. Kanchan, you're muted, sweetheart.
Hey, I'm Kanchan, as you already know. I'm a change enabler, an energy healer, and an artist. I create sacred healing arts. Um, as far as the roles that we play in our life, with all due respect to all the panelists, we have been talking about the roles that we play in others' lives, the role that we are perceived for. For me, the roles that we play in our own life, either we move around in circle or the trinity, where either we are playing a victim of our own mind, a victim of our own environment, a victim of our own thoughts, or we are playing the perpetrator who is, you know, ready to bash up herself or himself, and who is, we are most of the time abusive of our own being. We are not in acknowledgement and gratitude of our own being, and we play the role of the perpetrator. And the third in the trinity, that the role that we play for ourselves, is the role of a coach, a mentor, the place where we come out of both being a victim or a perpetrator, and we coach ourselves, we mentor ourselves, we find our own space in the world to let our soul evolve, to let our soul grow. And that's what I would like to discuss about here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kanchan, for that. Brilliant insight. Let's go over to Yogini Thakkar. So, Yogini, if you can introduce yourself and what do you get from this topic? Thank you. Can't hear you, Yogini. I can't hear you.
Hello,
Yes.
am I audible now? Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Yogini, and I'm a mind coach, a hypnotherapist, and I do EFT, a lot of other modalities, which basically trying to help people. So I like playing that role where I can help someone through my experiences, and it's not just about teaching something that I have learned. I love teaching and changing people's life by preaching what I have really learned. So that is one role that I'm playing right now. And I love what Kanchan just said. You know, we have our roles playing internally. But I would like to add that when we start playing these roles internally and start changing our roles physically, we learn a lot. Like the transition from being a wife to a mother, that role transition brought in so many changes. I learned what is patience for the first time in my life. So every role that we play has is always a learning experience. So it's important what we take from him. We can be a victim, we can be a learner, we can be a teacher. It could be anything, and the other person might look at us differently completely. So it's about what you want to play in that role, learner, victim, or you want to be the teacher, or maybe something else. So roles are quite important, they're always important, and changing roles is even more important.
Thank you so much. Very interestingly, what I realized in my life, as we grow, our number of roles that we play in this world for ourselves or for another person kind of becomes more. So when you come into this world, you're only a baby to someone. You're loved or you're not loved. We have children who are not loved. They're children who are thrown into the garbage, and the roles that you will play from there, whether you are accepted or you're rejected, that sets as a foundation for who you will become tomorrow. How you will play these roles, whether you will play these roles with being happy, or are you going to be someone who's going to be constantly sadu? I call them the kurus, the constant screaming, the constant bitching inside you. So basically, our childhood plays or pregnancy plays a very big part, and how we are welcomed into this world plays a very big part into the roles that and how we are going to play these roles. I would like Sumita, because she is into psychology, that she can probably throw more light on this. That do you really feel that your pregnancy experiences when you're inside your mom, the womb experiences that you have, do you think that have an impact on how you will be playing roles further in your life? Thank you.
Definitely, Anu. That's from where your brain has originated, and your brain has started perceiving those movements. So all the time, since the time you have been in your mother's womb, and the first experience of how uh, the child is being perceived as. So I was talking to somebody, in fact, 2 days back, and they said that my daughter just happened by, like, we couldn't take protection, and my daughter. And so, the moment I told the dad, so he was like shocked. He said, "How did this happen?" And she said, so it took a lot of time, actually, almost, and she was already 3 months pregnant. So it was a shock to me also. So this lady didn't understand that she's 3 months pregnant, and she didn't know this, and she came to know about pregnancy when she was already 3 months plus. That was real, like, one time situation which I have never heard of from anybody. But I realized that in those three, and she said I was doing everything in those 3 months. I was taking no precaution which a pregnant woman should take in those 3 months. And she said, I very proudly went and said, I don't have any nausea or anything. And she said, the moment I said that, and from that day, the whole 6 months, I was just vomiting, nothing else. I kept on horribly vomiting, and she said I was in a bad shape. And when her daughter was born, then she was also, you know, told that you have to take a lot of precautions. And she was said that maybe she had some disorder or something. So, I mean, hearing her experience was really a very big shock to me that, you are 3 months pregnant, you don't know. So I imagine, like, what she would have gone through, like the mom and the dad. And obviously, when 3 months means we are talking about almost so many weeks baby. So the baby definitely got that impact. Oh, my parents, how they are taking me. And that would have definitely impacted. So in my case, my Samara is an IVF baby. So, like I was very mentally prepared and like eagerly waiting for that positive report. And we were like, wow, we have done it, kind of a situation, big time achievement. It was that situation for us. And from that day, like when I was told that 3 months, I have to be on bed rest, I have to be very careful, so no doing anything. So definitely, there was some instill of fear in my mind that 3 months are crucial, and then fourth month is fine. So I had to really work on myself. And that how you and me have worked on that thing, that the fear factor should not be affecting my child. So I was doing everything in the house, but I was trying to be, because work used to be my passion. And somewhere when this was done, I was told that from fourth month you can go and work, but till 3 months you will not step outside your home, you have to be like on bed rest. So I really wonder, at that time, had this online thing would have come, and I would have got a situation to work online, it would have really worked on my issue of not meeting my clients. Or that thing never that idea didn't come to me actually. But then after that, from fourth to seventh, when I was still putting from my loved ones a lot of restrictions, don't go to work, don't drive. But somehow I didn't listen to anybody, and I just led my life. Can you imagine, just before, because it's a plan, she's a C-sec baby. So when I went for my pregnancy, like when I went for my childbirth, so I choose the hospital, I booked the room. And that nurse actually asked me, for whom are you booking? I said, for me. I booked a suite because my mom, my sister was coming. It was like I'm booking a hotel. And then I went to my parlor and said, please do a nice, manicure and pedicure. I wanted to relax. So Samara is born on 8th September, and on 6th September, I went to the parlor. Then I did a lot of baking. I said, a lot of guests are going to come. And my mom and mom was saying, are you gone crazy? I said, so what? I'm doing baking. I'm enjoying. I really enjoyed, because I know the day I step in the hospital, after that, when I come out, it'll be a different word for me. So let me do whatever things I wanted to do. So I would actually tell everyone who is in this phase of 9 months, enjoy to the max. And I made it sure that I'm talking to my child a lot. Actually, a lot of people tell me that is why your child is now talkative, because you have spoken to her a lot. Every experience of my 24 hours experience, I was actually talking to my child as if she's visible in front of me. I just, made that. I mean, whenever I used to be alone in the room, or even, with Sandy, I used to be really, telling her all my experiences, I was doing a lot of sharing with her. So somewhere I feel that was very important for her and for me both. So
Thank you
that's
so
my
much.
experience.
That's brilliant. Let's go over to Kanchan. Kanchan, do you think how you carry yourself during pregnancy, or the kind of experiences you had as a womb experience inside your mom, would have impacted you as to how you dealing with your roles today and dealing with various insights, including the triangle that you spoke about of being a coach, being a victim, or being an aggressor? So could you throw some light on that? Thank you. You're muted, sweetheart. You're muted.
Going back to my mother's womb memory, when I was in my mother's womb, I know we've done a lot of work on womb healing, and my mom was very young when I was born. So she herself, and whatever womb memory I have is that of being lost, not knowing what to do. just like a child in a uh, wandering in a new field, a new zone, not knowing what to do. And she was so involved in her duties, probably, that she had no knowingness of delivering or being pregnant with her baby. And I realized that all my childhood, I myself was lost. I was in the silence of my own mind. And when I conceived, that time I didn't have the knowingness. Now that I have gone through the healing journey, now that I have had coaches and mentors hold my hand and take me through the journey, I have a realization that I was in the same zone that my mom was in. I was in the same zone where I had no knowingness of what it is to be pregnant. I had no knowingness of what it is to carry a child within you, to carry a life within you. It was just that I had conceived, and I was told that I'm pregnant and I wanted to keep my child. So I held on tightly to myself and my child as if I'm protecting my own life. And the time just passed. The time just passed trying to protect, trying to be the protector for myself and for my child. And emotionally, mentally, it wasn't a great space. And today when I go back and look at it, had I had the knowingness, I would have probably had created better memories. And that's why when we talk about pregnancy, when we talk about childbirth, we tell people that if you're planning to become a parent, prepare for it.
I so agree with you. I feel for any role, if we are not prepared for any role, and that's why I picked up the mother and child, because that's from where everything began. If we are not ready, like Sumita seemed ready, but we didn't know whether the baby is coming or not. And then when the baby did come, there was more needing and talking visibly. Your mom, on the other hand, was very young, and so were you. So there was no knowingness, like how Sumita spoke about the lady who didn't even know for the first 3 months that she's pregnant. And these are two very opposite spaces. And let's go further and see how these spaces unfold. And that's what I'm so interested in, because I feel that we play a role with knowingness or unknowingly. And how we will embrace that role changes a
Everything.
whole everything. I mean, not just for us,
For everyone.
around us. So over to Yogini. Same question. What do you think?
It's quite interesting now that I'm thinking back. I never thought of it so deeply. So when I had my womb healing, I remember that there was a lot of stress when I was going to be born. There was a lot of family feud going around, and I know my mom was really stressed, and my dad was the only supporter at that time. I have heard these stories, but when I was healing, I went to the womb and I could feel that stress from my mom. But I never felt, now that I look back, I was never a stressed child. I'm a very carefree child, but I've always seeked someone to hold on to. So for me, having someone next to me, standing by, supporting me is a very, very big factor. I cannot stay alone. I always need someone by me. So my mom was the biggest pillar of support for me, and then when she passed away, it was very difficult for me to replace her for quite some time. And then my husband came, obviously he was there, but till mom was there, she was the one. And then the husband became the pillar of support. And now that I look back, for me, not having his support on anything is very difficult. I need the support. I need someone to say it's okay, whatever happens, I will be there. Because my dad did that to my mom. He stood by me, he stood by her, and he gave me all that love, and I always seek that in life. So I would say my mom didn't let that stress pass through me. I felt that stress, but still in that stress also, she managed to always show me happiness. I believe she was talking to me. She used to talk good things to me. She used to read good things. She used to chant a lot, like the prayers, just Brahm Bhakt. So she used to say Hanuman Chalisa and all. So sometimes in life, the mother doesn't have choice. Like for me, my mom, when I got pregnant, she always told me, be always happy, your child reads you this, that, and I know that she did that for me. But the situations came where I lost my mom. It was not something that I wanted for my child, but it happened that I got into a stress mode. And despite of that, just like my mom, I tried hard that I don't let that stress come to my daughter. I don't know how she is, but I know that she somewhere has that fear of losing mom, because that was the feeling I had when I was pregnant, because I knew I would lose my mom. So I see that streaks in her on and off. Someday when she's older, we will heal that. But yes, the womb, what you learn in the womb, and we see it in our scripture, Mahabharata, everything, we know that, we learn from the womb. And it plays a very important role, feeling either rejected. I know people who just it happened, and I always tell people, never tell your child this, you just happened by mistake. If it happened by mistake also, but the moment you come to know, start accepting it, that this is what is supposed to happen, because you're feeding into the child's mind right in the womb that, oh dude, you were a mistake that happened to us. So when the child grows up, they always feel unwanted, or they always feel neglected, and those feelings come out naturally. So the words that we choose to send out to the womb, or even to the people around us, we're not telling the child that you are unwanted. We never tell the child. But around us, are you pregnant? Hi, yaar, I didn't know. It just happened and we just got to know about it. I mean, that just throws out to the universe that I didn't want it, but it came, now I have to accept it. So change, that we need to change that attitude. I think we'll have better kids then.
Brilliantly. I mean, I think we've ignited something really important here. And from the last two panelists, Kanchan and Yogini, both endorsing that whatever experience their mother went through, they went through similar experiences during their pregnancy. Yogini says that her mom went through stress which was not her own. It was stress. There was a chaos happening in the family, the property fights. And then when she was pregnant, there was again a war going on within her, because she might lose. You're losing property or you're losing a loved one. It's one and the same thing. And I'm very intrigued by these patterns that keep jumping in front of me. Very intrigued as to why we are repeating the same saga again and again at the most important areas or roles of our life. Are we playing our roles, or is something else playing us? That is really being on top of my head. Let's go over to Rashmi Arora, Dr. Rashmi Arora, and ask her, does she really feel that her experience and her pregnancy, she feel that has an impact on who she is, who are the people around her? Thank you.
Uh, Definitely, Anu. My own, when I was in the womb, hardly have any memories of that. But considering my own pregnancy, I have two children. So in the first pregnancy, there was not much of, I mean, not much of stress about that. I was just I really wanted to have my child at that moment. The second pregnancy was my husband's insistence that we should have a second child. So I was not so much prepared, but once it came through, I accepted it. But in that, during that pregnancy, I had so many of other responsibilities. My husband had had a slip disc, and he had to be taken care of. And I had already had a child who was 5 years of age at that time, and he had to be taken care of. And there were certain times when I used to carry my elder child, even being pregnant, because my husband could not, if he had slept in the car or somewhere, and there were other responsibilities coming in. Now I see that my daughter is the more responsible child. She is picking up these things which I was doing in the pregnancy. My son is not, he is not like her. She will take into more responsibilities. Then she will think back, she will sit, she will become a more stable than him. So this is what we can see when we are pregnant, because during that time I used to wake up at night, put in a traction for my husband, and again look after my son, take him to school, come back home. do the cooking, do my work, and then again. So these things, in all these 16 years, I have not seen them. But now that she's turning into a beautiful female, I've started seeing these traces of my own, which I do not like, because I would like her to be on her own. But that's it. That's the truth.
She says something which, if I throw it back, probably she'll get it. Again, there's a pattern here. Rashmi is the second one. Her elder sister is called Anu. I'm not her elder sister. But her elder sister also coincidentally is called Anu. And the second born is Rashmi. And second born is far more responsible than anybody else. And that pattern is repeating in her story too, where she says her daughter is far more responsible or taking too much of responsibility, which is not okay with her. Okay, that's brilliant. Like we're looking at, and I was just summing it up. So coming to my womb experience, the only thing that I remember is that I don't remember anything of the womb, otherwise other than one memory that I do have when my mom is delivering me, and I remember she saying, "ये कहाँ से बच्चा आ गया? ये क्यों आ गया मेरी जिंदगी में? ये मुझे बहुत तकलीफ दे रहा है. मैं इसकी वजह से मर सकती हूँ." So I believe that she had turned blue, she couldn't push me out, and she was having a huge problem. And I probably felt like a burden, someone who was putting too much of weight on her, unwanted, not required. I don't think I felt like this throughout the pregnancy, but I'm sure I felt like that just before. I do have a memory of who picked me up first, and I do know that it was my grandfather. I also do know that my father wasn't there after I was born for about a month, and that's who he was. He was never there. He was very brilliant guy, but he was never there physically there. So that must be the reason why I created a hero worship of him, hero image of him, putting him on a pedestal because he wasn't there. So I had to compensate for his absence by making him bigger and bigger than life. When it came down to me bringing up Arjun, and that's my firstborn, I went through a very difficult pregnancy, and so did my mom. And I wonder whether Arjun felt like a burden and coming into this world, because he wasn't. He was constantly, I was wheeled into the hospital thrice, so that, oh, he's going to come. And then he's not coming. Oh, he's coming. He's not coming. The kind of thing. So maybe this has had an impact on him too. I picked up the womb experiences and our pregnancy experiences because these totally define who we are at two different spaces of life. So, Sumita, I want you to now, we've spoken about, mom and womb experience and roles. And, we really, that one small thing, that one small scream of my mother when she was in pain can impact me and I feel like a burden. I mean, if somebody were to hear me out, they'll say, what are you talking about? I mean, she loves you so much. एक बार बोल दिया तो क्या हो गया? सबको प्रेगनेंसी के टाइम पे ऐसे होता ही है. So I want you to now look back at your experience as a daughter with your mother, and how do you think she played the role as a mother in your life, and is it having an impact on how you're bringing up your daughter?
Definitely. As I was hearing, actually, I never made that connection. And so for my mom, I'm the second born, and I have a elder sister. And so she was told that, she has to plan this second pregnancy because she had some difficulty which will get solved when she does deliver a second baby. So I think she had some prolapsed uterus or some kind of a gynec problem, which will be solved if you have a baby. Otherwise, she was really in difficulty and pain. So she really planned a second baby. And the way I planned Samira, So I think that connection was very strong in planning the baby. And when you're planning a baby and, you're eagerly waiting for the baby, and she was eagerly waiting for me to come because like I was, she assumed that when the second child will come, that then she will be out of all these gynec issues, what she was facing now and then, going to the hospital and being in pain. So that was like I was a solution, and Samira came like a solution to me in terms of having a child.
Realized you've carried her pain, and that's why it's
Pardon?
not easy about you carrying her pain.
Yes,
You said the
true.
words, when I will come, she will be out of pain. And
Yeah,
so she is out of pain. And you, in every talk, have said you have been the pain patient.
yes,
Wow, we need some epigenetic work to be done over here on generational work, and things might
definitely.
ease out. So brilliantly, so beautifully, you put that across. Thank you, Sumita. That was like real insight. Over to you, Kanchan, with the same question. Do you feel how your mom brought you up or how your mums brought you up? Sometimes we have more than one mom figure. Has an impact on you and how you will then deal with your child.
Anu, I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to grow up in a joint family on both my maternal and paternal side. So, like you said, how my mom's brought me up. So, I didn't have one caregiver. My mommy was my caregiver, my masis were my caregiver. And on my paternal side, when I came, my mom's elder sister-in-law was my caregiver. She took such beautiful care of me, doing up my braids before going to school every morning. I don't remember sitting with my mom and doing all that. Uh, I would more so run to my aunt for it. Even at my maternal side, my masis were like so loving. I have such beautiful joyous memory now that I remember, now that I have been guided and helped by my mentors to remember back of the beautiful times in my childhood. I had such amazing time, such fun time with them, so much of joy time. And I think today, in spite of all the years that I have lost out on giving to my son, today when I step back and restart my journey as a mother, and I'm nurturing so many women, so many friends, so many young girls around me, and even the older ones, once some of them are almost my age or even older to me. I i am able to give so unconditionally because I was able to receive unconditionally from so many mothers in my environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so interesting. Your mom didn't take care of you the way, I mean,
No,
because
it
she,
was not that my mom didn't take care of me. It was just that my mom was taking care of the other children who were the grown up youth of the family.
thank you. And you're taking care of the other children. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Are we even living our roles, or were the roles living us? Were the roles directing, the previous roles directing us? Is a very big thing that's coming in my mind. Let's go over to Rashmi and see what has her experience been.
Uh, Anu, the roles which we play definitely impact our lives because we are into that die. And if I am a responsible person, I'll get more responsibilities. And I have seen part one, two, three, everybody will come and play that. Regardless how our mom or moms, like as Kanchan said, she was brought up in a joint family. I've been brought up by primarily two, or I can say three moms, one be my sister also, elder sister. So the way your mother brings you up, you also tend to bring your children up in the same way. Like there are some parts and parcels of my grandmother, paternal grandmother, which I tend to tell my children also. My grandmother used to bring me up like this. Or sometimes they are certain, like my mother was a bit strict mother. So I tend to say, okay, this is my part of my mother's upbringing, my bringing with my upbringing with my mother. Similarly, my sister was a bit friendly, but she was more of a mentor. So I also play that role. So we tend to play that role. We tend to play the roles only which we have experienced. The roles which we experience is what we'll pass for forward.
How beautiful. Only what we have experienced can pass further. Over to Yogini. Yogini, what would you say?
So
I
it's interesting. Right before this call, I was talking to my sister, and we both are, trying to establish ourselves now. And it's not that we are not confident. It's not that we don't believe in our potential. And she was just telling me this story that, I was just trying to tap back and find out what is really stopping us. And surprisingly, we both came up with the exact same notes, which was unbelievable. So we came up with this because our mom always said that, that you both girls have been brought up with so much of love, care, and so much of freeness in life. And you will definitely find your husbands who will be earning so much, and all you have to do is live like queens. Okay, and you can you imagine that has such a deep impact on both of us that when we tap and we're trying to earn and we're trying to grow, it's not that we don't get clients. We do get clients, we do a lot of free service, but when it comes to monetizing ourselves or our works, it just somewhere becomes a barrier. That is one line that we both came up with, that mom always said this while bringing us up. You don't have to worry about anything. Money will just come to you always, and money does come. It's not about money doesn't come, but it doesn't come through us. It comes through either our husbands or our dads or somewhere. Money is always there. So it's so amazing that how words or the way our moms bring us up affects us. Like my mom used to work, but she used to work flexible timings. She used to make sure that family come first. And somewhere when we both sisters play the role with our families, with our kids, that becomes the priority, putting our family first. I mean, someone offering me $1 million, but it's my daughter's tournament today, I would say, you know what, she comes first. So, and that comes from my mom, because I have seen her not giving out so much. Like she never made us feel that I gave this up for you, but she made us feel so good that I am there for you. So there's a difference between parents saying कि अरे मैंने तुम्हारे लिए कुर्बानी दी. So she never ever used that word, but she always made us feel that I am there for you for every occasion or every moment that you need me. And that comes to us naturally. It's just like something which we don't even have to work on. It's just naturally that if my child needs me at this moment, do help. Puri dunya gayi bahar mein, we have to be there. So since the kids are small, we're like, they need us. We have to be there. We never miss anything for the kids. So it all comes from the way our mom has brought us up, the way things were done, and the things that she talked. And I didn't have too many people around. My mom was the only soul and whole. So I think we learned only from her. She's the only gateway that we had.
Wow, it feels as if a blueprint of how we were to react later in our life and how our children are going to react is already laid by our behavior. And yet we wonder whether we play an important role in people's lives or not. It's a big question mark for us. We only spoke about women and their role. I'm really intrigued to find what is a man's role in our life. So I will start with Kanchan from here. What do you think is the role of your father in your life? What's the role that you think your husband or husbands or lover or partners have in your life? And you having in their life, of course. The big question. Let's basically let's.
You, you
You want to shoot me? Don't do that.
you kind of put me in a fix here. The
Wherein the question is for everyone.
the, the other day, you did a session with me. Can you hear me? So the other day, Anu, you did a session with me with my rotator cuff injury and my frozen shoulder. I
Yes.
have now my shoulder is moving to arms
Up.
height. Yeah,
Wow.
it's still not gone like completely up. It's still not rotating completely. So for me, I have not been able to integrate the masculine energies uh, into my being completely, for various reasons. I love my dad. I used to hero worship him. He's like the sports person. I've seen him play volleyball, cricket. I've gone to like um, the works with him, like gone to Eden Garden to watch cricket matches, gone to Fort William to see horse riding, and he's treated me like a princess. He's and more than a princess, I think he's treated me like an equal, training me on various things, on business aspects and everything. But the feminine side of me, somewhere lacked in the aspect wherein I always thought that I was the beta of the family. I was the beta for my parents, because my younger siblings are like 9-10 years younger to me. And somewhere, playing that masculine role and taking up that role of being the son for my uh, parents, I haven't been able to actually integrate until recently. I haven't been able to actually integrate the masculine energies into me. So whether it be my marriage, whether it be my life with my partner, there was something majorly missing. And even till date, I I'm not very, I'm very friendly to the men around me, but as far as the love life goes, I'm still like kind of laid back. I'm still like kind of scared to open up. I'm still like kind of not very comfortable with relationship.
Thank you so much, Kanchan. I mean, that takes, like you said, you have to be very open to even admit it or talk about it like this. So I really, really acknowledge and value your input. Uh, if I was asking easy questions on this forum, what's the point of this forum?
And we are all here to bring about a change in the world. We are all here to share our truth, so that our truth enables the ones who are going through the same challenges.
Yeah, so that the world knows that they are not alone. There is someone out there who's not comfortable, and that's okay. That's also a role that you're playing. You are born as a woman, but maybe you are more comfortable in the male attire, or even if you're not wearing a male attire, a
No,
male dress.
I know it's not about being comfortable in a certain kind of attire.
No, it isn't. It isn't. That's exactly what I was going to.
Yeah, and it is not that.
Or if it is not, it's about how you were groomed. What were the thoughts going on in your parents' mind that are going to impact you, their energies at the time of conception, how they brought you up, where you went. That is such a blueprint for everything. And we think we are playing roles, but more and more it feels as if roles are
It's
playing
the
us.
patterns, yeah.
Yes.
So,
uh,
Anu, to add one more thing to it, it's more of, when a female is playing masculine role throughout her life, and she herself has that femininity which is very strong about her. So you either get very submissive in a relationship, or you get aggressive with the opposite gender, which was like, I'd spoken on an earlier platform with you that I have always seen men as an inferior species, like somebody that I could either be friends with or rule over. So to find an equal hasn't been an easy task for me. It's always been a challenge.
Thank you so much for that. Beautifully expressed. Let's go over to Yogini. Yogini, what would you say?
I think I missed the part. So are we still talking about dads and their roles?
Yes, dad, your husband, role of your son, probably, and how you're playing back. So far, we were just connecting with the mother energy. Mother is one part, it's also the father who is equally important. He doesn't carry you inside him, he doesn't become the earth to carry you. He doesn't do that, but he does enough to be around you and create something around you that remains as a part of you, and how you will then relate to maybe your father, your husband, your lover, your son, or any other man on this planet Earth. There would be a blueprint over there too. So I'm just intrigued by it and wondering if you can throw some light on it. Thank
So
you.
I think, the dads play a role model, and most of the girls want to seek a husband or a partner who is like their dad. It is not a conscious thing. So there are fathers who are abusive, and the child might think, I want to seek something different. But I've seen so many people with whom I have worked, and they have actually got their partners who are a replica of their dad, even though they did not want someone like their dads. And it is so amazing that initially they didn't even figure it out. Okay, this is the situation. And later it comes to light, and they have heard them saying, he's just like my dad, and I never wanted him. I never wanted a replica of my dad. So I think dad plays that male role model where, there's a subconscious programming that happens where, you tell that this is the kind of a man, because he's the first man in your life and we are looking up to him. Now, what the man turns out to be is a very different story, but the subconscious is already getting programmed, and women always start seeking people like their dads. Uh, Other way, I've also heard that, moms are the ones that protect and dads are the ones that push. They are the ones that when you start getting those little feathers and wings, they are the ones that push you out of the nest. For me, fortunately, unfortunately, my dad pampered me more than my mother, so it's a different story. But yes, dads are known to be the ones who need to be the stronger ones, those who need to push and, tell their child, now it's time, you need to leave the nest, kind of. So I probably never experienced that, so I don't know. But that's what I've seen with other people, that dads are always stricter. My mom was a little more stricter. As far as the husband goes, I think my kids look up to their dad as someone, as a role model. But it's funny because I always tell them, my dad, Nana did this to me, and my dad was the best, and I did this. And it is surprising that sometimes when they have problems, they're like, what? Let's wait for Nana. He will come and solve it. Because I always tell them the stories. Okay, no, when I have something and you need to fix something or something's broken, then my dad used to do that and he's amazing at it. And then they're like, we can wait for Nana, he will come and do it. So they are also somewhere looking at the Nana, the father and the Dada as a role model around. And it's great that, they start picking up good qualities, and where they pick up the bad qualities, we need to like, hey, you know what, maybe let's tweak it a little bit. So it's little tacky situation, but having three male role models is also a great thing. You learn so much because they, as boys, they can share better experiences with men. The men can help them grow into men. And I think I'm lucky that they have three male role models here. I can tell you after 10 or 15 years what role they are playing.
What really comes up with what Yogini is saying right now is, and that was very interesting, it is we who paint a picture for our children of how our fathers were. And depending on what narrative we give them, they will either love them, wait for them, or hate them. We have a very big role to play there. What are we talking about our spouses to our children? What are we telling about our fathers and grandfathers to our children? What are we talking and how we relating to these male roles is going to impact how they are going to relate to these male roles. And that came out very loudly in the narrative of Yogini. Let's go over to Sumita and find out how are the male figures, how is she connecting to the male figures? What is her world all around the male figures about?
So definitely for a child, the first male figure is dad, and memories of me connecting with my dad has been like he has always been a silent supporter to everything what my mom was doing. I have never like so I recollect that whenever there was something which mom thought that is good for children, so even if dad didn't want it, she would make it, happen for the kids. So dad would okay, agree to it and do it. So somewhere he has been. So the message what I remember I got was he's always there for me, whatever may happen. He will always support me. Until date, it is there to me very much engraved in my heart and soul, and he has been always there for me. So, but definitely, my dad has never been that pushing kinds. Like, they say, you push beyond your. So he would always say, whatever is comfortable to you, you do. Otherwise, you leave it. So he was like that always for me. He never made that message loud and clear. Me, you have to do this kind of a thing. So it was always like that. So be in your comfort zone and whatever you can do, and that has always been there with him. So somehow I don't remember that. I was listening to the talks and thinking that did I make an image of that, when I was going for my marriage or when I found my partner. So I really don't recollect that I had some image that my partner should be like that. Maybe it was a love marriage, and I never had those shoulds and coulds happening to me, that when you go for an arranged marriage you start looking for that. Somehow with my partner husband Sandeep, he was there with me for almost first 5 years after marriage, living 24 by 7. But then after almost 10 years, I would say 9 years, he had been traveling tremendously, uh, to the point that this last year of COVID, Samara has been really thankful to the COVID situation that dad is with me. She's seen that 24 by 7, staying with her and me since 1 year now. So she has never seen her dad staying 24 by 7, because he has always been traveling, and she's been like waiting for the weekend of our dad to come. So now when I see that connection happening, so she would terribly miss Sandeep when she was growing up. She would really, she had, to the point she had developed a lot of constipation issues actually, which was later on connected that somewhere she is holding on to it. And actually that would happen, that when my husband would come after 4 or 5 days, she would be relieved of that. So there was a very direct connection, and to the point I made it sure that she would see him, and she would not like to see him on. So even though she's missing him terribly, but if I do a FaceTime or make her, she would not talk to him. She wanted him in real. That was her need, that touch, that thing. And now when I see this beautiful connection, and she's really looking for him because he is very extrovert and a jovial person. So she knows mom is there for all the tasks what she has to be done. But the fun part is connected to the dad. And she actually re-questions me and asks, didn't you have this musty with your dad? I said, no, I didn't have this musty with my. So what did your dad do? I said, no, he was there with me. No, but if he's there 24 by 7, why you didn't do masti? I said, maybe I didn't realize, but now I enjoy when I see you doing masti. So she has made those, like, this thing in her mind very clear. So mom is for everything else, but dad is there for the fun and the masti. So
Masti.
that is very clear with her picture.
Very interesting. It's a picture that we're creating of a man as an authority. Very nicely you said, mom is doing everything, but dad is the one who's putting a stamp on it and then making it fun. And it feels more like that we, even if he's absent, we can paint him as a hero. Whereas a hero who's always present with the child may not be looked at as a hero, but may be looked at as someone who's constantly at their case and constantly giving you BPL, that is bumpelat. So maybe it's our constant presence is creating something differently over there. So it's a very subtle comparisons that are happening, very subtle in the language. I'm hearing that a man is like this, a woman is like this, a man is supposed to do this, a woman is supposed to do this. And it's so interesting. From there, everything that we are going to be doing and endorsing, validating, even as in ourselves, is going to be different. Over to Rashmi. How do you relate to male figures? And that is your father, your uncles, maybe your grandfather, your son, and your husband. You're muted. You're muted.
I have been brought up by two dads. One is my grandfather, and the other one is my father. So my grandfather was a very conservative kind of man. Though he was, we were 6 or 7 children, cousins over there, and he was a very conservative man. So we had to be in the conservative way. I even remember that when I was in the 11th standard, a guy came to meet me in at home. So he stood up there. He sat at the door, just near the door, near on the sofa, and I said, "What's happening? Why are you here?" So he just looked at me and looked up at me and said, "I want to make you my sister." I said, "What? Why have you come here then? Get out." My granddad was a very conservative person. We used to fear कि कोई लड़का ये भी बोल देगा ना तुम मुझे पसंद हो तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. But my father, on the other hand, was मतलब very explicit. So I could talk anything to him. And my extrovertness comes from my father. So that is the way I expect. And then my husband, he is an extrovert. He talks very nicely to people. Everybody would say, okay, he's the best man in this thing. But somewhere, now that I'm seeing my daughter, I'm seeing that missing. He stays in some other town. So I'm seeing that missing in my daughter for the last 1 year. That she, as Samira said, she wants to touch her dad. With the COVID situation, we met him only for after 10 months. And then also, we are not also very sure when he will come and meet us. So that touch of the father, the need to connect, that extrovertness comes from the father. Mother has a different role to play. Probably that introvertness is also needed, or I'm also an extrovert, maybe that part she can take, but she also needs to understand her father to make herself somebody.
Right.
Otherwise she might be copying a role. So that way I feel that the father has a very important role to play.
We have a few people who have to leave the forum, and that's absolutely okay. I will go first to Kanchan with this question. But what's really coming up over here is that we are against typing. We are again creating roles. We are again creating templates. Oh, the man has to be introvert. Oh, the woman has to be extrovert. Or the man has to be like this, or a woman has to be like this. Last question to all of you. Can we do these roles without biases of the past? Over to Kanchan. You're muted. You're muted.
Yes, of course we can, Anu. And as I said that in my past, it was very difficult for me to align my feminine energies to the masculine energy. It was a huge challenge for me to integrate. And now I am learning. And now that when I am learning, I have so many male friends around. And when I say friends, I literally mean like some real good friends and supporters, wherein earlier I wouldn't have kind of stepped into a zone where I could sit and chat and interact and talk and kind of be free and be myself. Now I don't feel that with most of my male friends.
Wow.
However, when again it comes to partnership or relationship, yes, I still do have inhibitions, and I am working on it. And like you said, patterns can be changed. We have reversed so many patterns. We have reversed weight. We have reversed diseases like lumbocervical spondylosis. We have reversed so much. So these were all patterns. And if one pattern can be changed, all patterns can be changed. All we
Ab-
have to do is work on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And like
Over
I said
to
in
Gini.
the beginning of this session, uh, I've played the victim, I've played the perpetrator. It's time for me to play the coach and mentor to myself.
Wonderful. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Yogini, over to you because I know these two girls have to leave. And so, Yogini, I really want to know, can we play these roles without biases? Can we keep away these, oh, my mom was like this, my dad was like this, and create something more? I'm not saying our parents weren't beautiful or are not beautiful, but create something more empowering with this template, which will have a few more elements, which are also empowering elements, rather than just putting it on, oh, mom's like this, dad's like this, mom da 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 da, and continuously that's what is going on. We aren't really we aren't really making a difference. It feels like the roles are playing us. We are not playing roles. Can we be without the biases?
Absolutely. I mean, actually, we do not live with the biases for that matter. What we actually do is we take the goods of both the roles, the mother and father. As I said, my mother's role was to stand by me, and I stand by my kids. My dad's role was always to protect me. So if I did something wrong, like if I was having a glass of milk and I would drop it, my dad would immediately come and clean it before my mom saw it. And I do that with my kids. So it is, yeah, and I still do that. Sometimes they do something and they know that dad's going to come and shout, Mama, they know who's going to help them out. So we actually take the good things of both the roles, and we always enhance what was wrong. So, maybe somewhere I was given, but there are, sometimes we were not allowed to take certain decisions. Or as I was told that, art is just a passion, it cannot be a career. But today, when my daughter wants to play tennis, I give her the freedom. My parents didn't give me. So it is not that we bias based on roles. That dad has to play this, the mom. We always pick up the goods of both the roles and rebel against what was not right and make sure our children. So wherever we were hurt or where we felt that somewhere our parents went wrong, we might not realize then. We always try to make sure that we as a parent don't make that mistakes. So we are always growing. Their roles taught us something, we learned something, but it's not necessarily that we learn the bad and we enhance. We just go ahead and rebel against the bad and enhance it to in a best way possible. We actually give it more than what we require. I tell my kids, it's okay, padhai vadai kuch important nahi hoti hai. Go play, go do something. So I have gone to a complete extreme now. Just go and do what you like. It's okay. Exams they can, you will pass and somewhere you will reach somewhere. So we take the best of both the roles. We never bias. We are learning. The more you learn, the more you think back, more you will learn and more you will adapt, more you will, start playing those roles in a better way.
Thank you so much, Yogini, for that. And over to Sumita. What I mean to say over here is not just picking up the bad and the good. That's not what I mean by saying bias. I don't even mean that we know that we are doing it. Like we didn't even know till today the discussion started that we are repeating certain patterns in our story. My question is, can we be conscious of these patterns that we are repeating? And if we feel that these patterns haven't really empowered us in any way or haven't really, they are there because they have helped us in some way, but you know that they also had a negative impact on you. Is it possible for us to tweak them and change them and create some new understanding for the children? Sumita, over to you.
Definitely. Actually, when you were asking it, and this thought just flashed on my mind that there are some unconscious, subconscious biases which we are. That is why we are making a pattern and repeating it. Because consciously, if we are trying, then the change is coming. Whenever I'm looking for a shift, it has to be through my conscious mind. When I'm stopping myself or I'm telling myself, "Oh, this is something which my mom did to me, and now." I'm not doing it to my daughter. So I'm not repeating the same sentence, or not telling her in the same similar manner. And I'm giving her something which she can be empowered about. And so subconscious mind definitely plays a very big role. And consciously, if we want, if when we become aware about it, and we, from here, I decide to take that step forward that yes, I'm doing it. Like now when my husband and me, we were talking that now when he's going to be, obviously he's going to travel someday. So she has a very big fear now, my daughter, that what is going to happen when papa goes. So I said, okay, we will also start traveling. She's like, yeah, why you didn't get this idea before? I said, because before you didn't have online school. She said, now I can tell my teacher, you put me on online school for 7 days and I'm going to travel with my dad. That's a brilliant idea. So she has got something like she can hold on to. And I think that's like a tool you need to give to the child, that the child feel empowered, and I feel empowered that yes, there's a possibility, that we can move over. Because every time I feel whenever there's an energy shift, you need to do a conscious shift in your brain for that. So
Ab-
I think that's
Absolutely. So over to Rashmi with a similar question. That is it easy to break the patterns? And are these patterns that we are investing in again and again Why are we investing it again and again, even when we know that they're not working for us?
Mindfully, yes, Anu, we can break these patterns because learning is an ongoing process. We not only learn from our parents, we do learn from them in our childhood. But when we are exposed to the world, we learn from our in-laws, we learn from our friends, we learn from our society, we learn from our husbands. We learn different ways. I used to be a very finicky mother about education. So every time I would say, no, 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 they should do this. They should complete this work. Now, when my younger sister says this for her children, I keep on laughing. I said, my daughter is in 10th standard and I'm the coolest mother. I'll say, okay, what if you get less marks? It's okay. You'll still do your 12th. You will still do what you want to do. So that way we keep on learning. We learn and then we change things for our betterment, and that is where we can change our patterns.
Thank you so much. Let's conclude this topic today. Just hearing everyone. And one thing that struck me when Rashmi said, "Let's do this," and let's clean this up. Let me be more conscious parent. Let me do things differently. Let me create opportunities. It feels as if we wanted to create opportunity, but probably didn't know how to, and probably didn't even realize that we were not creating it. It felt as if our parents got stuck on that song. "Tu meri chamak chalo, chalo, tu meri chamak chalo." And we as children did the same. I'm hoping that we'll get lines beyond it. And I'm hoping we'll have a new song to sing. And with the new song to sing, the way we will play the roles probably may be more empowering, may not be empowering, but that will be our way of doing things. And if we do things differently, I'm sure we'll create different conflicts, different love, different stories. But I think we are so loyal to our family that we often create the same stories, the same kind of khana that our mom created, the same way of doing things that our country did, that our families did, that we haven't really moved forward. I love to quote my mom here. She often said, "हाँ हाँ बहुत अक्ल आ गई है, तुमको क्या लगता है तुम कुछ अलग करोगी? तुम भी बच्चे पैदा करोगी, उनको पढ़ाओगी, वो पढ़ लेंगे, उनकी आगे शादी कर दोगी, वो आगे जाके बच्चे पैदा कर लेंगे, वो भी पढ़ाएंगे, थोड़ा ऐड कर देंगे उसमें बस." We think we do it differently. We don't do anything differently, and that's how we are have a set pattern that's going on for years and years. We just improvised on what was going on. That's my take on it. I would say love your role rather than role dragging you and making you a puppet. Be your own person, because you have every right to do the things the way you want to do them. And there is no one here who should tell you it's good, bad, or ugly. Over to Rashmi. How would you conclude this topic?
Anu, when I was listening to you and you telling about your mom, you said, "तुम भी यही करोगी, आगे बच्चे पैदा करोगी." It sounded to me like we have a pencil and we sharpen the pencil every time. थोड़ा बहुत add कर दोगी. So we sharpen the pencil every time and rewrite the role.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now that just struck me that we have that pencil. It's we who are rewriting that role. We can rewrite. We can write another role.
Exactly. And we can write a role, and which doesn't have to be a role per se. We can write anything. We're stuck in these cubicles, in these circles, in these triangles, fitting in. Thank you, Kanchan. Over to you. How would you conclude?
Coming back again, when we talk about playing roles, I have lived like so many different lives in this one lifetime. And I have played like so many different roles in similar periphery of relationships. And uh, coming from a place where I always felt as if I was a victim, And I turned out to a place wherein I was abusing myself. I was letting myself be abused, and that itself was being a perpetrator to me, because I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't believe that I was worthy enough. I didn't believe that I was good enough to receive love or nurturing. And today, when the roles have shifted, I am treading with caution. I tread with a lot of caution. I take care that I don't zone back into the same cycle, that I don't zone back into the same space where I am being abused, or I'm allowing myself to be abused, or I get into the victim zone. So each step I tread, I am careful about a place where I find dignity for my soul, a place where I feel safe, a place where I can make the other feel safe, a place when I am nurtured and the other is nurtured equally. And coming to that, bringing myself to that place of equality in every relationship, in every role that I'm playing, isn't an easy task. It takes time, and I believe I'm on my journey. I've not accomplished much, but yes, I am on a journey where I'm open to accomplish a lot.
Wow. Over to Sumita.
So, like you were talking about your mom, it just, I got reminded of my mom. She would say, कि, बच्चे को जब बच्चा जब बाहर जाए, so आंख का इशारा से समझ जाना चाहिए कि the mother is saying something. So the mother doesn't have to be really vocal about something. So, I tried this with Samara actually, when she would go out for a birthday. So I said, Mom, how did you do that? Because मेरी बेटी तो मुझे देखती ही नहीं है, तो आंख का इशारा कैसे समझेगी? She has to actually look in my eyes to, understand that. So I would make that as a fun. But I feel that, it's a choice what role or what way you want to do it. So I believe that with Samara I've done a lot of things which my mother and sister are always questioning me, how come you are doing this? I mean, it's really remarkable what you're doing. So I said, yes, maybe I just thought it is good, and it will help. So I think you do it out of your own gut feeling, and you go it with your own intention, and I think you do it with your own choice. So something which you do it out of love and out of your own choice, that becomes the best choice. And sometimes, and now I get a feedback from my daughter also, oh, this is not the right thing. Like, we recently went on a trip to with four of my friends, and my daughter was really eager to stay overnight, and I said, day trip is good and I'll come back. So I had to really give her a big explanation about it. This is my fear where I'm not comfortable staying outside, and she just told me on face, don't give your fears to me. And I was that day zapped out. I said, wow. I said, true, beta, I'm giving my fears to you. Give me some more time that I can work on myself, that I stop giving my fears to you. And she said, okay, I'm waiting. So, I mean, I really understood that somewhere it is my fear which has come from somewhere, definitely from my, bringing up, that I am not ready to stay overnight at a place which I'm not comfortable at. And somewhere she understood, and we came to a common point. So I think it's a choice, it's out of love, and then it's also a communication which you do. So that is empowering for the next generation, I would say.
Thank you so much. I was thinking of the topic for tomorrow with all the conversation that we were having. And I think the topic for tomorrow should be, how do you feel that when you get married, or you reach puberty, or you reach at the place where the hormones, the sex hormones are flowing in you, that your identity suddenly changes? You're a different person. And do you again feel that when the menopause or the andropause comes in, that your identity again changes? Are these the marking points of change of identity, which is childhood, your puberty, and the old age, as you call it? Are these three areas really a mark of different identities? And do people agree with it, disagree with it? That's a debate we'll do tomorrow. I hope my panelists like this idea. And we'll be talking tomorrow at 6 o'clock, not at 4 o'clock. I have a class to attend. I haven't been attending this class for the last 4 weeks because I had a commitment to this sessions over here. But I do feel like going back to my writing, and I would be very, very happy if you can all support me at 6 o'clock tomorrow with this topic. I repeat the topic again: is childhood, puberty, and old age the marking points of different identities, or do we remain the same? And what part of ourselves, if we remain the same, then there's no debate. If we don't, then what part of our before do we carry into the after? Thank you so much. Really, really grateful to Rashmi Arora, to Kanchan, to Sumita Mehta, and Gini. She's not here, but complete regard for all of you. If anybody wants to say something before saying a goodbye, be my guest, please. Thank you. Anybody wants to say something?
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.